All right, so if we take a look at number 3, this one says that Alex bought a new truck for $42,935. According to the dealer, the truck will depreciate. Now, depreciate means go down, approximately $4,200 per year. So again, looking at that word per, remember that that is our code word for slope. And so now we know that our slope is depreciating $4,200 per year. So that word depreciating is our code word for the slope is negative $4,200. And then we also have to think about what our starting amount is. And so I think we already have that as well. I think it talked about how much it started with. It says Alex bought a new truck for $42,935. So we know that we started with $42,935 truck, and then it went down $4,200 each time. It says write and solve a linear equation to find how many years until the car is worth $5,135. So if I go to write the equation, it's going to be y equals mx plus b again. And then we know what the m and we know what the b is. So we can write it as y equals negative 4,200x plus the 42,935. And so we can say, yep, now we wrote the equation. All we have left to do now is solve the problem. And this is probably the part that I think is the most confusing, is when you go to solve the problem, the number 5,135, do I put it in for the x or do I put it in for the y? And what I always come back to is, what was this 4,200 per? It was 4,200 per year. So I know that my x must represent years. So if it gave me years, I would know it would go in for x. If it doesn't give me years, then it must be the y. And so on this one, 5,135 is not years, so it must go in the y spot. So when I go to set this up, it's going to be 5,135 equals negative 4,200, x plus that number, and I'm off the screen because I just have too big of numbers. And then I'm going to just solve for the x. So I'm going to just undo until I get the x solved. So I'll subtract the 42,935 from both sides. Probably going to need a calculator for this. So you're just going to take that, subtract it out. 5,135, subtract 42,935, and you get negative 37,800, and that's equal to the negative 4,200x. And then you'll just divide both sides by that negative 4,200. So I'll just take my number I have there, negative 37,800, and I'll divide it by the negative 4,200. And that means 9. So what does that 9 represent? That's how many years it will take. And so my final answer would be x equals 9 years. It's kind of crazy that 9 years, a $42,000 truck is worth only $5,000, but that's what happens. So if you guys could use that information to help yourselves solve number 4, we're going to make number 4 the you try. If you guys have questions, just ask.